Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is from Frey Ranch. This is their straight bourbon whiskey, coming in at a 45% ABV. So Frey Ranch, based out of Nevada, is doing what very few distilleries can do, and it's that they're farming, growing their own grains, doing everything on site, from seed to the distillation process to the bottling process. Huge thumbs up on all that kind of good stuff. You don't see that often again. So this more recently showed up here in Indiana, and I really wanted to try it out because I hear a very polarizing effect on Frey Ranch. There's a good population of people that really enjoy what they're doing and love their profile, and then there's that subset of people that despise it. It's just not for them. So obviously in that case, really kind of caught my eye. Now, they do tell us this is a 4-grain bourbon, and they tell us the mash bill, which we love seeing that bottle itself, and you're never going to change away from that, and we're not going to know it. Nonetheless, let's just see how the bottle itself goes and jump into it. I will say they have one of the chunkiest bottles, and I really stinking love their design. Big old thick top on here, big glass bottom, and it's heavy. And as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit, become a member if you'd like. If you're interested in some other reviews over Frey Ranch that I might be doing, they'll be linked up above and down below. Like I said, they just showed up here in Indiana. And I picked up the rye, which is a bottled and bond rye. And then their cask strength I can usually find too. And I was actually more tempted on the cask strength version, but that one's $80 and nothing against that. But I'm just like, I want to make sure that I like their profile before I drop $80 on a bottle. It's a metal top too. Wow. That's cool. So, I mean, this is as craft as you can craft get when it comes to whiskeys, I feel like. You know, going through the whole process of growing your own grains, distilling it, aging it, bottling it, malting it yourself. That's pretty cool. Beautiful color on there. And again, Nevada's going to have quite a different profile when it comes to aging things because of their temperatures there, depending on what part of Nevada they're in. I didn't look that part up. Nice golden color. Let's go for notes. That is craft. Wow. That is grain forward. And not necessarily a bad way, but I can see why some people would have problems with this nose. It's got the corn, dusty, sweet notes going on. You definitely get that rye, almost minty rye going in there as well. But the corn sweetness is really dominating. Like, you get that kind of barley waxiness in there, the corn dustiness, the rye spiciness. Like, you're getting all the grain components on the nose. But that minty fresh is kind of breaking through things. And there's also a sweet oakiness going on in here. Just a little bit. That's got to be coming from that barrel. I like that nose. It is definitely unique. And again, I can understand why some people would not like this. It definitely has a lot of that craft note on there. And what I call craft is that well-aged antique furniture that's been shellacked. So it's got that kind of varnish note in there. No ABV, nothing harsh, no off notes. You definitely get almost like a sage note going on in here, like fresh sage picked from the garden. And it's mixing really well with that minty fresh. And it's got this underlying oiliness and things as well. And this is non-chill filtered too, just to put that in there. Alrighty, let's go for a sip. Yeah, that's really a nice solid sip. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it in my opinion. I think it's pretty good. You're getting a lot of that corn sweetness right up front. And then it's got that minty freshness in there as well, like freshly picked mint leaves out of the garden. That starts from the beginning to middle to the late finish here. A little bit of oakiness, a little homemade caramel going on. The rye floral is showing up as well here in the late finish. And I gotta give credit. It's an easy drinker. But again, kind of like the nose, I can understand why some people would not like this. Because you are getting all the grains. You're getting that kind of barley waxiness in there. And the bit of rye grains going on. Almost, it kind of teeters close to like multi-grain rye bread. But the big things for me is that wheat is bringing across a spiciness. and then that corn sweetness in there. Coats the palate again very well. The oiliness clings for days. I am shocked at that. And even here in the glass, it clings to the glass as well. But you're definitely getting a lot of like tobacco and a bit of like sweet. Again, for me, it's coming across almost like a spearmint and a little bit of sage. The more I let it sit on the palate, it kind of reminds me of like if you've ever been to like a fair or any kind of like Renaissance fair kind of thing where they can do like homemade caramel corn. That's what's giving me vibes of, like just this homemade popcorn, a little bit of caramel drizzled over it, and it mixes together really well for a very solid pour. Third sip here, I'm finding a little bit almost like a dried leather note going on, and some, I want to say it's like homemade, or like if you've ever been to like a pumpkin patch or an apple orchard, like homemade apple cider. So it's not super overly sweet, but you're getting that kind of apple influence going on in there. Yeah, I think it's pretty all right. Well, let's talk about grading something like this. What do we want to give it? So again, we have a craft distillery here that's going seed to bottle. So they're growing it, aging, distilling it, bottling it themselves. You're transparent on a mash bill, on a process, and that's all big thumbs up in our books here on The Last Call. I love seeing that kind of transparency. Here in Indiana, this is $50. Looking around online, I see it go as low as like $45, $40. So for me, I'm probably going to give it, I want to say B-, but I'll be honest, it's probably going to be closer to a C+. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm happy I got to try it. My biggest criticisms are this. First of all, if this is supposed to be a 5-year-old product, put it on the label. The average consumer is not going to go hunting on your website to figure that out. And again, for its profile, I can understand why some people would like or hate this bottle. You gotta like those grain forward notes. Personally, I don't mind them. I think they're pretty good. Especially the sweet characteristics they're bringing across in here. Very corn forward. The wheat profile comes through. Everything like that is showcased. But for me, at the end of the day, I think I'm just going to be kind of forgettable. Maybe the cask strength version is a little bit better, but I think that overall, it's not a bad pour, but I think that it's going to get lost in my collection. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Frey Ranch Straight Bourbon Whiskey. If you have any questions about the bottle itself, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits I should go looking for, also let me know down below. Love doing these reviews and sharing with you the experience at home. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
You know, and I even